Hey guys, it's Isaac from Soccer Reviews, and today we have a pretty special unboxing in the form of the recently released Mizuno SuperSonic Wave 3s in the black, yellow, and silver release colorway. So in terms of what you get when you purchase this boot, that's nothing really. You just get this pretty stock standard shoebox and you get the boots on the inside. So let's take a look at the stars of them show themselves. The Mizuno SuperSonic Wave 3s. Give me a second. So here that you have them, the SuperSonic Wave 3s, the third edition of Mizuno's SuperSonic Wave line. So as you may or may not know, the Mizuno SuperSonic Waves are Mizuno's control boot. So the main idea of this boot is that you should get a great touch while moving at really high speeds. Before we get into the specs of this boot, we should look at the design. So you have a really great looking boot. It's not too flashy, but it does stand out on pitch. You have yellow sole plate. You have a predominantly black upper, but you have a silver Mizuno sign or logo, and you also have these yellow studs and a yellow tongue. In terms of the biggest specs, the biggest feature, I guess, of the Mizuno SuperSonic Wave 3 is the feather touch system. This was present on the SuperSonic Wave 2, and basically all it is a low rebound sponge on the forefoot. So it's a really spongy forefoot, and this is meant to basically aid your touch. It's meant to cushion the ball when it comes up from high or when you receive a pass, and this is meant to help you dribble at really fast speeds. Also on the side of the forefoot you have this synthetic grippy material. Not sure if you can see it that well. And this is also meant to help you grip the ball better, and if you want to add some swerve to your shots. Other main features include the wave configuration in the heel, as the name suggests, the supersonic waves. So you have this wave configuration that Mizuno had become quite famous for, and this is to ensure stability and cushioning at the back of the boot. And in terms of the upper material, apart from this part right here, which is more synthetic, a majority of the boot has a really high quality kangaroo leather upper, and as you can tell, it's really soft. Haven't worn it yet, and I'm sure it'll get softer as I break it in. On the collar you have this suede lining, and that's really to enhance comfort, make sure your foot doesn't slip while you're inside the boot. And also the insole is quite substantial, nothing you'd see on a speed boot, but then again, this isn't a speed boot, that's important to realize. And you have a really interesting kind of material on the insole that's really meant to make sure your foot doesn't slip while inside the boot, and that's really useful to have. When we move towards the bottom of the boot, we have Mizuno's Tiger Claw stud structure. So this is not only a conical stud, but it's also a bladed stud, and this is aimed to improve acceleration and lateral stability. So that's a really useful thing to have on these boots. In terms of weight, while they aren't the lightest boots on the market, they do weigh in at a very respectable 265 grams. So while they're not very close to the Mizuno Morelia Neo, for example, they are pretty light for a control boot like themselves, although they do feel pretty substantial when you hold them in your hand. In terms of fit, I ordered a US 9.5, and that is the size that I wear for most of my other boots. And I found while there is a little bit of space at the front, and I prefer that, they do fit pretty true to size. So if you're thinking about getting these boots, although you should probably wait until we review them, definitely order true to size. That's all for the Mizuno SuperSonic Waves for now, but we will definitely have a first impressions post up by next week, as I'll be wearing them day after tomorrow for the first time. And stay tuned in the coming weeks, as we'll have our full comprehensive review of the Mizuno SuperSonic Waves only on soccerreviews.com. Also, if you haven't already, be sure to like us on Facebook and follow us on Twitter, as we'll be having some exclusive giveaways on both those social networks. Again, these are the Mizuno SuperSonic Waves. I'm Isaac from Soccer Reviews, and thank you for watching.